I've been very unmotivated to do any editing, at least large videos. So in this case, thinking maybe forcing myself in the by using streaming to actually do something with it. I filmed this back in May, late May, where I just went out, had backpack, I had a GoPro on the backpack with a tripod, like a different perspective. Then I also had another action camera, I think. Yeah, it's got to be here somewhere. Yeah. I don't know if I was holding it or what, but went to a city area. I've done some videos of very similar stuff, but using this Nikon AW1 with the, it's, yeah, 10 millimeter f2.8. So 28, I don't know, 28 millimeter equivalent, something like that. But YouTube is popping up stupid things on the screen. Let's see. Anyways, good combination, waterproof. It's got the seals and everything else. If I get it off here. So there is, see if it focuses. There is a seal right there on the lens, not my face. And of course, this is got some pretty intense gasket connection abilities. Fun camera so far. It's got the 1-inch sensor. Pretty basic, but it does at least have full manual mode and everything else. So, walk around the city with it. It was raining, which was a different experience. And just see what I can make out of the footage, which is quite a bit of footage. I also have to finish editing the photos. So I walk around, take photos. In the video itself, it and that is weird. Okay, anyways, in the video itself, I try to have me walking around saying something, then I show a photo, and it repeats, which probably is not super interesting to some people, but which is reflective in the viewership. But I mean, I don't know. I like going out there, taking photos. So, just how it is. Right now, I'm going to finish editing these photos. One thing I do with this is ACDC Photo Studio. It says it right on the top. One thing I do with that is I actually try to take. I have different cores on my computer. You know, the CPU has multiple cores, and try to remove one of the cores from the program because it is kind of a resource hog. So you have to actually go into Task Manager and then actually remove one of the cores from it being able to access it. It's really stupid. There's a thing called Affinity in Task Manager that you can take one of the cores out. It just makes it easy. For some reason, it's a little more responsive when I do that. But I'm going to edit these photos. Let's see how it goes. Let's see. Before I do that, might as well post this on Twitter or something. If I can find a link. You'd think YouTube would have a link inside their little interactive screen thing, but I don't see it. Who knows? Who knows? So if I actually go to my own channel, see the thing that should be running, which I don't see it, which does not make sense. It should be running. And it's private. So I've been talking to myself the whole time. Awesome. Here we go. All right. Today I'm going to attempt to edit a video. I've been sitting on this one since May, late May. I went out to a city area, taking some photos with the Nikon AW1 and 10mm f2.8, I think. Let's see. Yeah, good combination. It's a cheap camera now. Well, relatively cheap, but fully waterproof. Takes a little effort to remove the lens inside there. Let's get the camera to focus. It's pretty cool. There's a big gasket, which I don't know if I'll ever be able to find replacements for that. But at least at the moment, it is all good. Nice little camera. Situations like this, the 10mm, I think it's a 2.7x crop on this camera. And it's a good focal length for that type of simple street photography, basic stuff, but it works. So I'm gonna finish editing these photos with Acdsee Photo Studio Ultimate, whatever version, current version. And then I will attempt to finish the edit, which I use Magix Vegas Pro 18 at the moment. I said in the somewhat recently that I'm going to try the new version, but I haven't yet. So we will see. This works. This is a paid program. I know DaVinci Resolve is out there and everything else, but I'm used to this. I've been using Magix, well, not Magix, but Vegas, the consumer version, for many years. And I eventually switched to Pro when the Humble Bundle had version 15 for sale. I think it was like 30 bucks or something. And then I switched over. And of course, all my projects moving forward from that point have been in the Pro version. So there's no going back, even though I wouldn't go back at this point because there are features in the Pro version that are definitely very nice. So at this point, I've already taken the footage from walking around, which how I had it set up is the backpack, tripod, GoPro. I think I had the max lens mod on, but with that kind of gives you an interesting third-person view. And then I had the DJI Osmo Action as well, which I think I might have just been holding it. I'm not sure. Let's check it out real quick. So these are layers. The top layer, of course, is going to take over whatever is on screen. But if I make that invisible, you can see the Osmo Action on the bottom there. So it looks like it might have been either on the camera. Actually, I might have had it attached to the tripod connection on the camera, which would have made more sense, actually. But I have all this footage. I'm going to attempt to make something out of it. My videos aren't exactly the most exciting all the time. Actually, one thing I'm going to do before that is post links to this stream for anyone interested. Of course, YouTube does not link the stream inside their little activity thing. So I have to actually go to my channel, get the link, and then use it, which is kind of irritating. Let's put it into YouTube. Let's put it into Twitter. There we go. And Facebook. Facebook hides the posting of posts now. I don't understand the interface design of these companies that are humongous. you'd think it would be really cohesive and make sense, but nope. They're not about that life. Okay. First, let's do photos. I've already gone through quite a few and applied standard adjustments to most of them. But the skies are still blown out, although this camera, surprisingly, has a decent amount of ability to pull back the highlights, at least the photos I've checked out. So in this case, probably not fully savable, but it's got a little bit of detail in the sky, which is nice. Then I'll adjust the position a little bit here, make that sign straight. These photos, this focal length isn't the most exciting. I assume it's a 28 millimeter equivalent field of view. I don't know what multiplication, 10 times 2.7. But it's definitely got a very standard type of snapshot look to it. So I'll attempt to fix the highlights a little bit more, maybe. Just make the photos not quite as boring as they might be perceived as. Actually, I don't know if I mentioned ACDC, and I'm in the Develop tab up top right, which allows you to adjust the raw photos fully. Whatever changes you make, it doesn't actually affect anything. It just adds information of what your changes were. Even to the point of you can use a repair tool and adjust like dirt or something, like remove dirt and such, which it works. It's not the most amazing ever, but it works. So that is pretty cool. Non-destructive edit, that was what I was thinking of. But in this case, usually I would use something like that with people photos, but I'm not going to use it with this type of photography, most likely. And you can see the rain falling down here. If we zoom in, those streaks are rain droplets. So I had a huge umbrella that I keep in my car, which we can actually look at real quick. So in that case, this curve on the side of the footage preview is actually the umbrella in the shot from the GoPro. I think it started with the GoPro over here, but then I moved the entire thing to the other side because it made more sense, because my hand is on this side with the camera, so that you can actually potentially see the camera when I'm using it, which it doesn't have a viewfinder, but yep. There we go. We can definitely, with that max lens mod on the GoPro, it gives it an interesting look. There we go. That's kind of cool. What is that thing on the ground? I didn't even notice that. It looks like a battery. Weird. Anyways. City area. I'm not a big fan of taking candid people photos. It's just not my thing. But I'll definitely go out into city areas and just take snapshots of whatever. There might be people in it, there might not be people in it, but most likely not people in it. Okay, let's straighten this. I think at some point I need to upgrade my computer. I've been trying to hold out for DDR5 system RAM, and that should actually be a thing come late this year. At least I think Intel is going to be the first to actually use it. Which would be nice to not use, because my current computer, which is I think from parts from 2017, maybe a few newer ones, especially the storage, which definitely would move over the storage. I've got card in there that has 4 slots for NVMe sticks, and I have 1 terabyte in each slot, and then I have it in RAID 10, so it's got speed plus backup for the main drive that I use to edit the videos on, and then I also have a 2 terabyte, which in RAID 10 it splits your storage in half, so that's basically 2 terabytes, and then I have another 2 terabyte standard drive. I think it's a 2.5 inch. And that has 2 terabytes of just like additional backup. So I back it up after every session in the computer. And then I have another single terabyte for miscellaneous. When I do my renders, I push the render to the 1 terabyte drive. And then actually the operating system has a 2 terabyte NVMe. I did have another one in there, but I took it out recently for that laptop build that I did to use for backup, like when I'm out somewhere. But it would be nice to update the actual processor, graphics card, RAM, maybe the case and such. Okay. I think this is good enough. Nice statue. See if we have any highlights. We do have highlights. Quite a bit, actually. Pretty impressive little... I wish I had the darker version of the camera itself, but that seems pretty rare. And then kind of a mixed look. Which actually I bought this one, Use Photo Pro, and then this one I got on KH. It's a fun camera. So in this case, I would probably use this midtones thing to kind of equalize the adjustment that I did, which it looks a little too contrasty, but it's all good. Normally I try to go through the actual photos pretty quick, which one thing about the downtown area in my city is that this company has these bikes all around that you can pay money for and use, which I've seen actually the July 4th video that I did similar to this with a action camera strapped to my chest. That one, I saw people actually using these little, whatever they're called, scooter things. But I have not personally tried one. One actually nice thing about this camera and the Nikon One system is that when they were released, they actually had good autofocus. So this camera is actually not too bad with focusing. You can pick your points. You can. The one negative, I guess, is that the focus area. Let's see if it's a little. It's like wide. It's pretty wide, but it's not a huge deal either way. This focal length is relatively challenging to make work sometimes, but 1 inch sensor does give you a little bit of interesting, like if you want some background blur. Although I have 2.8 on the tiny sensor, not too much out of it. And actually the AW system only has 2 lenses. It's got this and then the zoom lens, which I also have. So in this case, I'd probably just get a little closer with the crop. And these photos are shown for like literally 2 seconds, maybe 2 or 3 seconds, based on my usual edits. So I am not super specific about edits for these videos. So my last stream, I was doing the cosplay edit. That took probably 1 to 1.5 hours for one single edit, adjusting the flyaway hairs and the whatever else. Let's see. So I should probably try to edit these quicker. You can see how slow this ACDC is on my computer, which I don't know if it's my computer because other programs aren't quite as laggy as ACDC. But I do really like their management system for that. But if anyone has questions, you pop in, let me know. That should be good. Doing this streaming thing, whether anyone watches or not, kind of appears to help motivate me do some work, which is nice. Which is the ultimate goal, is to actually get something done. I was shooting through this. I honestly can't remember what it was. But this is some type of art structure or something, which actually looks pretty interesting in the photo. And then I saw this weird van that looked pretty questionable. There you go. Okay, sure. Need to straighten. But it was definitely a weird van, although I like the color. Let's see. At this point, that picture is so bad that I don't know if I would use it. An actual video, we'll find out though. Depends on if I had good footage of doing the photo taking. Alrighty. I've done most of the simple edits for these, but straightening, for some reason I was really off. I think it was due to the weather, the rain, trying to hold an umbrella while also holding the camera, taking photos. It got kind of difficult. So a lot of the photos are just kind of weird and off with how I was holding the camera. This program is so slow. That looks good enough. Let's keep going. Anyways, I think I'm going to stop here for the moment and then switch over to the editor. What I tend to do is look for any interesting talking points that I made while I was out there, but I might need to do a voiceover for this because most likely did not say much. See how long it takes to. Hey, it's Scarf Duffy Bonsai here today. Gonna try to go to the city area. All right. So I have the two action cameras going. In this case, all of this stuff back here is a no-go. Just delete it out of here. If you hold the control key and press L, it toggles this auto ripple thing, so you can automatically move clips down when you delete something, which is nice. Hey, it's Scarf Duffy Bonsai here today. Gonna try to go to the city area, but in this case with the Nikon 1 AW1, it's raining have the 10mm, I have
2.8, which should be nice. Focal length for that stuff. See how it goes. I have 2 action cameras going, one on the side if it continues to function, one on the bottom attached to the Nikon 1.
Okay, that sounds good. At this point, I'll look for some type of area that is worth actually showing. Maybe I can use a little clip of this. I think that's going to be a good option. There's already water. Whatever. Probably leave just a little bit of this in case I want it later. And then delete the rest. Pretty water. Then I also need to find every single point where I was taking a photo. So I might reference some of the first pictures just so I get an idea of what it was. Which I'm obviously not going to use that, but maybe that one. I know where that spot is. At this point, I will look for that spot and see if it's decent. Which there's a good chance that I do not have any good footage of. Actually, Control Z, and then check this to see if that's where I was taking the photo. No. Nope. Go back here. That might be a ways down. I need to figure out a way to get the footage plus the photos more easier to link together. I'm thinking maybe I should say something after I take the camera going. 160 800 ISO, 2.8 maybe. Have the camera in program mode. 160 ISO. Have the camera in. So all this footage is probably not going to be used. Let me save. New save. I tend to save steps. So in that case, I'll do a decent amount of edits and then I'll save like a version 4, version 5 type of thing. Just so it's, if there's anything I want to save or change in the past, I can go back and deal with that. Camera going, 160 800 ISO, 2.8 maybe. So that's good. The camera in program mode. Oh, delete. This is what have the camera in program mode. 160 ISO to 800 automatic. So in that case, I probably was having, okay, I must have had the other action camera attached to the bottom of the AW1. It's a connection point. Automatic. So here's where I took the first photo that I'm not going to use because it's just terrible. Which would be that one. It's very boring. This one is okay. But let's see. Some type of shutter sound here. Okay, yeah, the fully electronic shutter. So it does not some type of shutter sound here. Make any noise unless you intentionally have it make a noise. Shutter sound here. There we go. Just barely. There we go. So here is the point where I took a photo. Shutter sound here. And then delete that. Just barely. So I think right about there is where I took the photo. If we look at the other footage, I might like switch to that. And then in that case, I would usually export this entire thing and then pull in the photos, which I should probably do first. But I need to finish editing here. Let's see. That is not straight. Also not straight. So in this case, I'm going to try to, whoops, wrong thing. Try to finish these edits before I finish or go back to the video. So I usually export the entire group of photos and then pull them in to the video as I go through it and try to find every single point where I was taking a photo. I'll decide which ones are decent or not decent to actually show and apply my usual type of look to them. But in that case, let's see. This edit process is extremely slow with ACDC. Which, that one I should probably straighten again. Sorry, this is not going to be an exciting stream for you. It's going to be just work. Or if you consider it work or not, that's up to you, but I kind of do sometimes. But if you have any, hey, what's up, man? Trying to do some streaming so that I will actually edit a video, a normal video. Kind of motivates me to not stop after 10 minutes or something. Yesterday I was doing a photography stream that actually worked for at least editing one single photo that took maybe an hour and a half. So I was dealing with the flyaway hairs and the, trying to improve the skin and everything. But at least at the moment, I'm going to try to edit this video from May that I took downtown with the AW1. So waterproof camera, 10mm f 2.8. Fun little camera. It was relatively cheap used. Let's see. So at this point, I'm just looking to see if there's anything I can improve on. Which the 10mm on this camera, 1-inch sensor, is very snapshotty looking. So not exactly the most exciting, artistic looking photos ever. Let me know if my audio sounds decent. Tried to improve it from the last stream a little bit. Yeah. Oh, Sunday. You said the Philippines, right? see. The reason a lot of my photos in this one are off kilter is because I was holding a umbrella and also trying to take photos at the same time. So you can actually, whoa. Did it crash? Magix Vegas being garbage. Yeah, 27. I think it's a 2.7x crop factor. So I'm going to have to restart that. Actually, I'm going to turn that off for a second and then restart it. Still, it's still a fun lens camera setup to use. There we go. And reopen. The last update that I got from Magix improved on stability, but it still loves to crash occasionally. So you can see the umbrella going on there. I had the one on a tripod on the backpack. And I also had one attached to the bottom of the camera. Maybe I should put some music on before or while I'm not editing. I have a bunch of the YouTube audio library music that I can play. It should be fine in this. Let's see. There we go. Of course, nothing is in the playlist. So at least the nice thing about YouTube is that they have a bunch of music that you can use in your videos without having copyright issues, which is what I switched to. Many years back, I would try to use Creative Commons music, and that doesn't work. Like, even years later, some of them got flagged for copyright, and it was supposed to be Creative Commons license. But at least with the YouTube audio library, so far, I've not had an issue. Yeah, it was an interesting tryout to see. I don't know how much I talked in this one. Might not be a lot. Let me know if the music is too loud. Let's see, my audio levels are about double what the music is playing at. Right. There's people with their litter and trash. That always really bothers me. It's a Bud Ice lager. 5.5% alcohol. They just leave it on a flippin' building. I'm gonna straighten this one a little bit. And it doesn't look straight for some reason. Who knows? Skip it. There we go. Yeah. I see a lot in my state park in the area. There's garbage in weird spots. I kind of think there's a big lake. I kind of think the lake moves some of the garbage that gets in the water somehow to certain areas. But it's frustrating to see. I made one video, it might have been 2 or 3 years ago, where I was picking up trash. It didn't do too well on YouTube. Let me see how many views it has on here. And everything is slower when I'm trying to do the streaming on the computer. And it's not coming up. Anyways, I must have changed the title of it. Anyways, yeah. It's irritating because sometimes I see like garbage somewhere and then there's a trash can literally a certain distance away. You'd think they could put forth the effort to actually walk over to the trash can, put it in the trash can. But I mean, it's possible, like wind or something. It toppled the trash can at one point, but I kind of have my doubts on that. It's a bad photo. Yeah, I've heard, is Singapore the one where they can find someone for chewing gum? Something like that? I'm not totally sure. I feel like I've heard of that before. But we definitely, in some areas, chewing gum, for some reason, it doesn't seem as popular as it was maybe 10 years ago, but I still see chewing gum, like splotches on the sidewalks or maybe a bench or something. So I think this was an abandoned little convenience store, or at least closed convenience store. These super faded cards. Kind of interesting. They must have been sitting like near the window for years. This one is actually a little newspaper, which I'm surprised they still exist. I think they get a lot of money where in the USA, when someone opens a business, they have to post in some type of newspaper about their business. So companies like this that have a tiny little newspaper probably make a decent amount of money just for those postings. Okay, so in Singapore, Okay, for the gum, yeah. And then Manila Starbucks cups and water bottles. The most common ones you'd see in parking lots. Yeah, that makes sense. Starbucks. Definitely see some Starbucks trash around. Water bottles for sure. We get in the parks and such, we get those, and then also beer things, which actually they're not supposed to bring alcohol into parks, but you always find empty bottles. Actually, I was 2 days ago, I was walking through the state park, and then I saw like a ripped open condom package. So they're doing a lot of stuff in those parks that I thankfully have not seen in person. So in this case, the AW1 has a decent amount of dynamic range for like the original. You can see the sky is totally white here, but when I pull it down, there's a good amount of actual information in the sky, especially for a 1-inch sensor camera. Not too bad. So in this case, it's probably something I'll put in the video. It looks okay. This little Parthianos, some type of restaurant. Never been there. It looks closed. I think I can recover that sky there. So Janesville, Wisconsin, posting an ad on a Rockford, Illinois bus. That's funny. It is north, obviously, but huh. Something like that. Yeah. Actually, the place where I'm at, Rockford, I think at one point we were one of the most dangerous cities, top 10. But it's it's in specific areas, which where I am has gotten a lot better, but it is in the past has been part of the specific areas. In the past, for a long time, I was living in an area where you would hear gunshots, and then you would kind of learn the difference between gunshots, fireworks, and also cars like backfiring. So I got a good experience with knowing those sounds. Let's see. That looks good. This was a nice mural. I'm gonna try to straighten this a little bit more. So my reference here is usually like the side of the building or the vertical line of the building. So I can try to figure out what is straight. Although the building itself might not be straight, who knows? Yeah. That should be good. My intent today was to actually edit the video, but for some reason I feel like trying to make the photos slightly better. Oh, that's really weird coloration. Anyways, I thought this was pretty unique looking. That seems like a really big fire hazard or something. Oh man, the Nikon 1 has better dynamic range than the Micro Four Thirds you have. Except for the G9. Oh, except for, okay. G9, GF7. I know the G85, I've heard of that one. The G9. It should be good. Let me know if the music is too loud in comparison to my voice. Or even if it's playing, I think it should be playing. That's good enough. Alright. Could probably pull down the sky here. It was around that time, but I don't think it was related to the actual protests. Which, I mean, there could have been people, okay. I think there could have been people just using it as an opportunity because of everything else that was happening. But I think that's like one instance. I can think of probably at least two more in memory that they've been robbed, which is frustrating to say the least. Thankfully not since then. But the instance before the latest one, they took a bunch of boxes. So they didn't even get anything of value. I mean, taking the box from a camera lowers the value of the camera because you can't sell it as new at that point. But at the very least, they didn't get the cameras, which is kind of funny and sad at the same time because the camera store can't sell cameras like that. So I assume they had to write it off. Or I mean, I'm sure they sold the cameras, but they probably had to do some weird, like, used sale type of thing. I specifically told the person I usually deal with there not to tell me too much because I just didn't want to know that much about, like, the specifics of it. Definitely not anything I need to know. But we do, at the very least, have some relatively interesting areas downtown. For other people might have not have heard, I'm using this potential video is with the AW1 out in like rain and such downtown with a 10mm f 2.8, so you can get some decent background blur if you get close enough to your subject. That should be, okay. I think I can fix up the highlights a little bit on this one. Kind of sitting at a weird angle. Whoops. So in this case, I'll use the highlight slider to try to save those highlights. In this case, this specific photo, there's no information up there that I can restore. Here is our big, it's called the Metro Center, I think it's still called that, where various events like wrestling and they used to have a basketball team. They still have the hockey team down there, I believe. And we just finally got a hotel in the general area before that time. Yeah, the camera store. I don't know what their financials are, but they have managed to survive. Yeah, petty crimes. Yeah. Like I said, I did live in a not amazing area, but I never personally had someone like rob me or anything like that. Although it's not like I walked around that much outside of my main street that I had lived on. That should be good. Oh, that's a bad photo. One other thing that I do to these photos before I pull them into my video editor is that I try to change the title of each image to the EXIF information. There's a feature in ACDC, so it's much easier to apply that top header. In the past, I didn't put any like information on the photos, and I had some complaints in the videos about it. So I can at least get it in there relatively easy. Depending on the camera, sometimes this program doesn't pull certain information. So in this case, I might... Wow, it's lagging pretty bad. Just zoom in on this. Not exactly a true photo of what I was taking, but it'll at least look better. Good enough. Do you do any type of street photography? I had looked at your Instagram, but my memory is not the most amazing. Let's see. I'm gonna try to straighten this up a little bit. The distortion on this lens, I don't know if this metal thing is bent or it's the lens. It's got to be that metal thing. There we go. A little contrast. That should be good. Okay, so you moved to Manila. Okay. Less conscious of your environment. That makes sense. Oops. Oh man, you've gotten pickpocketed? I have thankfully never experienced that. I do occasionally go to downtown Chicago, but the few times I do go down there, I haven't had anyone try to steal from me like that. Actually, every time I can think of going down there, I usually get people asking me for money. There's certain areas like the Union Station that you get these people coming up and giving you a story. Like, oh, I need money for the train or whatever. Which the last one I can remember, I went to a convention called C2E2 when I took a bus from my area to Union Station, Chicago. I think that's what it's called. And then I had to stand around there to wait for a bus that would pick me up and go to the convention center. And I would get people coming up to me and giving me like stories about whatever, just to get $1 or something. Which is, I mean, it's tough to tell these days if they're serious or just like it's like their job that they decided to take on. Kind of like that one. It's good. See if we got any highlights in this one. It's got a weird green tinge to it. There we go. Should probably crop out the bottom portion. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of street photography. More so, I don't like getting in people's faces. Which, I mean, there's different types of street photography, so it doesn't necessarily have to be candid people photos. I'm totally fine with going out and just like taking pictures of groups of people or like buildings and the atmosphere of a place. Yeah. Let's see. They have some nice parks and such, or any type of natural areas that you check out. That should be good. This is a fun little camera, especially in these conditions. And it's got a decent amount of detail. Yeah, if you make eye contact, I don't know if it's still considered candid. because they caught you. I'm not sure. I would assume the Philippines has anime conventions and like sci-fi or whatever. Those would be good places to do people photography, because usually, at least in the United States, people wearing costumes and stuff are very open to having their photo taken. And I ask for, there's a different culture related. I mean, there might be a few people doing candid type stuff there, but generally cosplay photographers ask someone, you know, can I take your photo? May I take your photo? It works out. It works out nicely. But the cosplay stuff is pretty much what I started with photography. About the 2002, 2003 little Canon. So I was intending to go to an anime convention for the first time. And then I saw online that people were taking photos, people were wearing costumes and stuff, and it seemed like something interesting to try out. So I got the camera for it. And then actually in the meantime, between buying the camera and the convention that we went to as a college group, I did do the landscape, like just taking snapshots and stuff. So I guess technically I started with landscape, but the intent was cosplay stuff. Let's see. I should probably straighten that. Yeah, body language. Definitely a good way for people photography. A lot of my friends currently are from the convention scene in my area. It's kind of interesting, at least here, is that you've got the anime conventions, which tend to be younger, and then you have sci-fi or comic conventions, like comic books. But I mean, it's so generalized now that they tend to be like an older audience. So if you want to, depending on which direction you want to go, you can pick one that fits or is more comfortable to go to. Some rain droplets. See if we can pull back this sky. Oops, wrong tab. There we go. Oh, it's got a weird blue to it. It's like a teal blue, which I can actually change. So in ACDC, there's a color EQ area that you can select hue and just basically put your mouse over the color and go a different direction. So instead of a really weird green, blue, teal, I can make it more of a blue, dark blue. that's so weird. This is Abraham Lincoln, one of our past presidents. He has a connection to my state. I don't think I can do too much with this one. It's not great. I think this photo is going to be better. Yeah. Simple and to the point. We've got a similar nose. Nice detail on the 10mm. That's good. Little bit of background blur. See what aperture. Okay, I had a 2.8. Tiny bit of background blur. Okay, you use Luminar for color EQ, then Affinity if you need more editing. That makes sense. Does it have a similar layout to this one with this? So we've got the saturation, brightness, hue, and then contrast. With each of these, I can just go onto the picture itself or use these sliders. So I want to make this blue a little more blue instead of teal. Can do that. Or just basically lower the sky color. That should be good. There's a self-portrait that didn't work. Maybe I can pull some information out of it. Or not. Not too much. That should be good. So I'm over halfway. Oh man, that's a lot. I need to step up the pace of... Okay, it doesn't have the... Not the same layout, but it does the same thing. The color levels will show at the bottom. There's a sliders. Okay. This is the hockey team that we have. I got a nice little area. and a banana. That banana must have been sitting there for a while. Yeah, the depth of field of the Nikon one is perfect for, oh, the Funko Pops, yeah. Those are everywhere around here. We have a shop that sells used, like, video games and pop culture stuff. They have a humongous line of Funko Pops. And of course, regular stores have new ones, but those things have been going everywhere. Oh, right, yeah, this one. Yeah, it's got a definite tint to it. I assume it's got some type of UV coating or something. Yeah, I'm not sure how my stream, I have it set to close to real time, but it might not, there might be some lag with what I'm doing versus. There's 3 different settings for how fast it should be actually sending information. That should be good. I have a very weird story related to this. Technically, it happened like a week before this. But a guy that is around, he does video stuff. He adds me on Facebook like a year or two ago. A window film, yeah. And he keeps telling me, hey, we should talk. And eventually I say, hey, you know, if you want to come up with something, and then whatever. But he comes up with, oh, yeah, you can be an extra for my my video shoot. And, you know, you think an extra, yeah, that means just standing there watching. So I was curious to see how he did things. And it comes to be that he's trying to have me go in there and act like a person in a courthouse where I'm on the stand and I'm basically, I was labeled as a abuser. For they had a woman on the set, and I was not thrilled about that. So there's some training video out there, maybe with one scene that has me as that, and then there was like a judge and doing a mock trial thing. So I unfriended the dude, and hopefully I don't have to see him again. But he works actually at that, I think he probably works at that camera store, which I didn't realize at the time. So I haven't been to the camera shop that often since then. Just weird. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I actually, the reason I'm mentioning it is because I talk about it in this footage here at some point. I remember talking about it, which I don't know if I'm going to use in the video or not, but oh, double reflections from the glass. Not really. It's a small group of video people. So I assumed he just wanted to talk about YouTube video, whatever, but he wanted to use me as a free extra for his video work. And in the weirdest way. Yeah. Oops. I've been trying to hold out to update my computer, but the lag is definitely irritating. Trying to hold out for, I don't know if you're into computers, but DDR5 system RAM should come out by the end of this year. So it'd be nice to skip buying DDR4 again. Just faster DDR4. Also, you don't have to stick around if you don't want. It's all good. Just trying to motivate myself to do work here. Let's see. Those windows definitely do add a... I'm using a i7 6700 from Intel, which is a 4-core 8-thread CPU. 32 gigabytes of DDR4, but it's at 2100 megahertz, I think that was the thing. And then also NVIDIA GTX 1060, so it's 3 generations back, something like that. Most of my recent purchases were storage related with the, I think I might have mentioned it on the Twitch stream, I'm not sure, but I have a card with 4 NVMe drives in RAID 10. Then I have another 2 terabyte for backup of that. So I would do my video editing off of the card with the 4 drives. And then 2 terabyte for the operating system. So I'll definitely take all my storage stuff and put it in a new motherboard, CPU, graphics card, maybe a different case. I tried to buy efficient stuff, so I probably wouldn't get something super pricey and super energy demanding. With the GTX, I don't know if RTX 30 series, the 3060. Actually, the power usage bumped up quite a bit from the 1060 that I have, which is under 200 watts max. Oh, I am 39. So yeah, I know what you're saying. Japanese CE firms. Yeah. I have a computer science degree, so programming, which I haven't done lately. Mostly contract work that I was doing, which has its benefits, but there's also negatives, like insurance. Oh, in a relation to that weird story with the video guy, this building right here is the state courthouse. I went to that one instead of the... okay, you studied computer engineering? Yeah. Low-level programming. Okay. I had done some assembler for my degree. System 370, IBM. So it's like mainframe stuff. But not exactly like related to board level assembler or whatever. But this building in the picture is the state courthouse, and I went there instead of the local courthouse for that video thing. That was not fun. Those guys, the security in there were very enthusiastic, trying to figure out what was going on. So hopefully I never have to go by that place again. Most of the programming that I did for the contract work was for a machining company. They had me do like business related stuff to help them manage their information or understand and group their information in different ways so that they could more easily deal with stuff. So I made a big system that had updates for machines and things like that. In the court thing, it was literally the judge guy. Then the other person that this dude found, a woman that was probably a little bit older than I was, standing over there on in the court system in the United States. You got the judge, and then in the small courts you got these like two little stands that people stand at and look at the judge, and then they talk back and forth or whatever. And judges go through this like very specific thing that depending on what the mock thing is, but and then besides her there was a defendant's whatever person, which was there for the training video, and then maybe two or three other women that were related to that group of employees, and then the video guy plus his assistant. So that's it. So I was an extra, but I was basically acting in his thing. And then I I kind of said something, and I think the woman that was working there caught on, so she's like, okay, we're good. So I only did one scene. Anyways, it was not fun. And then I said to the woman, "Oh, this isn't. What is this going to be used for?" And I was like questioning her, and I think that scared her a little bit. So the specifics of what the training videos are is, I think we have a system where the citizens of the United States have jury duty, and we basically know nothing about the court system. The average person, you go and you get a thing in the mail that says you've got jury duty, and you have to go there, and then you're in a big group of people that they like question you and stuff, and they decide which ones are gonna be actually on a jury. Yeah, it seems like it. And what they do once you're actually on a jury, which I was on one in the past, they show you videos about how the trial is going to work. And that, I assume this is what the dude was recording for, to make new versions of these videos that they show to the people, the citizens that go into jury duty. So, I mean, the videos are seen by probably hundreds of people, but in a closed situation. Yeah, the guy definitely wanted free work of something very awkward, because the one specific scene that I was in, I was the bad guy. I mean, and obviously the video footage is extremely real looking. So. Yeah, these photo edits are taking a lot longer than probably should. Part of the reason these videos take at least a day, if not more than one day, just to get everything ready to even edit. It takes a while. Yeah, if you see people walking away from you, they've been called for jury duty. Yeah. The one time that I did jury duty, I thought it was pretty interesting, but I don't think they tell you enough for the process to actually go as smooth as it could be. Because this person, in my case, they had multiple charges, and they would not tell us that we could say this one, this one, this one, but not this one type of thing. We thought it was an all or nothing. So we ended up debating for much too long, trying to decide if all of them were the case or just some of them. And they would not tell us that it could be just some of them. Let's see. It has a weird green tinge to it. Oh, that one's bad. I think this, what is this, 12, 14 megapixel? I'm not sure. Oh, 4,600. Yeah. Jury selection. I think, at least here, it's random. Oh, they sent you one. You weren't a citizen. That, yeah, that definitely shouldn't be. Shouldn't happen. How did you explain to them that just go there and say no? Or maybe you were able to call them? Yeah, I'm not totally sure what type of records they use to pull lists of people. Yeah. In your case, who knows? It might not have. Okay, that makes sense. The driver's license, that might have been it. No information in this one. That sky. Oh, IT certifications. Yeah, and right. This area looks a little questionable. Good. Yeah, this AW1 does seem to have kind of a filmic grain to it. That is true. With questionable areas make for good street photography. Very true. Yeah, I think there is some lag to the chat versus what you're seeing on screen. We have a big river that runs through some of the city, which is pretty nice for bridges and such. Yeah. I assume it has to re-encode it or who knows what. Jeez. Right. Yeah, a lot of these photos I'm probably not going to even put in the video. But it usually is easier to just have them all ready. Although in this case, it's taken way too long to edit. A lot of the time I can just apply adjustments to the entire group and then maybe touch up some of them. But in this case, I got so many weird, like, kind of tilted pictures. Like that color on there. It's pretty nice. Oh, and even the door here. It's got the marks of the chain. That's neat. Patina, yeah. Finally almost done with these photos. Well, getting there at least. And there's one of these bikes that are littered around where people can, I guess, hook up an app and pay for it. I don't have any tilt shift now. I think I might have used one or two, but yeah, they would be something fun to mess around with. Definitely a lens that'll get you to slow down and take your time. Like you were saying in the Twitch stream, probably be a good idea to see if there are any available from like different third-party companies, at least just to mess around with. Usually the first-party glass, especially for tilt shift and things like that, can be pretty pricey. Although maybe really old ones wouldn't be too bad. I mean, it's not like you can get autofocus, so kind of curious. Let's see. Probably that one. Here we go. Let's see what they got. Oh, the most expensive on the top. Yeah. Let's do least expensive. Lens Baby Spark. No idea what that is. These are an old film era. I don't think you'd really have an issue with shutter speed. Maybe not. Who knows? It might depend. This looks like it has one axis. So probably like a... That's not terrible. Bargain rated is okay because you still get a warranty. See what else you got. On these Lens Baby. 35, 2.8. This one might have both. Oh yeah. Actually, this is just one axis. Looks like. However, yeah, they are getting expensive. Yeah, it would definitely change if you accidentally move. This looks like a full tilt shift, yeah. So 500 some. I don't think I would spend that much. Oh, this one has contacts on it. Actually, that would probably work with EFM gear. Although it's a 45, so that'd be pretty tight. Yeah. Anyways, it would be interesting to try them out at some point, like in more detail. Try to get through these pictures. This specific area is used for a city market that we have, at least in the summer. Actually, I have a video taking photos with one of my friends that he lives in Thailand, but he was back in my area for a while. He's big into the like street style photography. That should be good. All right, yeah, you can definitely get some interesting looks out of those tilt shift. Hey, if you start your YouTube channel, that'd be a good first video to try out one of those. I'm not sure what area he's in. Let me see. Oops, if I can spell. Here's his page. So I don't think he's been posting much along the lines of street stuff because he's been kind of unmotivated with the COVID situation. But he's got a little bit. He's really big into these portable gaming systems. But if we go back, something like this. Let's see, this was Bangkok, Chiang Mai. He uses Olympus and Canon, I think. Here's one. Yeah. That's pretty nice. So that one was in Bangkok. Yeah, he does good, nice work. I've never asked him specifics of why he wants to live there or what, but he seems to like it. I assume it's a lot more cost effective for someone just trying to enjoy their life or whatever, at least compared to where I am. But let's see. Almost done with these. I saw this sign. Yeah, Intel is I do wonder how much the current Intels are even better than the i7. AMD's Ryzen's definitely have improved the situation, but I try to go efficient as possible. So usually I don't like buying a CPU that's more than 65 watt TDP. But next time I might go like 90 something watt, which some of them tend to be. Yeah, with video, actually, they use the GPU quite a bit, and they're hard. The GPUs are hard to get at the moment. Which, if I were to get one, probably the 3060 from NVIDIA. I don't even know what that word means. What computer setup are you running? Or do you build your stuff from parts? My original original Windows PC back in 96, I think, was Toshiba. But then I actually modified that quite a bit over the consecutive years. 11th gen Intel's quite competitive. Yeah. If I were to go with the current CPU, I'd probably go with the AMD just for efficiency, and then maybe the 8 core or 12. But all those are above the 65 watt TDP unless you get a OEM version, which they don't sell those at the moment to normal people. This is a cool little mural that I noticed. Finally, almost done with these photos. Which aren't especially exciting, but they'll get the job done. I thought this business name was pretty funny. Okay, you build your desktops, but your laptops are pre-built. I mean, chances of building a laptop are pretty slim. Ryzen 9 3900X, yeah. 2070 Super. Yeah, prices have gone nuts. It's the same situation here. Although, I think we can finally buy CPUs, like the current CPUs, but we still can't easily get the GPUs. Which I'm definitely not going to pay scalper prices for anything. Like I said, I would like to hold off until DDR5 is like fully available, so I don't have to buy DDR4 again. Hopefully by then GPUs will be easily available. I mean, there's got to be a limit to how many people upgrade. Okay, you're viewing this stream on a low-end Quattro. Radiant Pro. Yeah. Aren't those mostly just like driver-related improvements for business and such? I don't know. Do they have different? I don't know. You don't call it a CPU, but the core inside. Yeah, crypto is. I feel like COVID definitely caused some of it too, with how many people have to do work at home and such like that. And they were like, "Hey, man, I need a better computer to deal with this situation." Which, in a way, I think it's good because I see a lot of value in desktop computers. I've always personally liked them. But a lot of people are just, at least before COVID, they were okay with the tablets and the smartphones. But they quickly realized that if they want to do serious work, well, I mean, you can probably do serious work on a iPad or whatever, but it's much easier, I assume, with just a traditional desktop. Let's see. I have actually gotten into one crypto coin. I don't know. I guess they're all called coins, but it is proof of stake instead of proof of work. So it's a lot more efficient than Bitcoin. I feel a little better messing around with that than Bitcoin. Okay, so they weaken their consumer GPUs compared to the professional. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that NVIDIA tried to gimp their 3060 with crypto, like Ethereum. I don't know if they got around that or not, but I highly doubt it really affected the crypto market for GPUs. But like you were saying earlier, the GPU does definitely help with the photo and at least the programs that I use in the video. So I think that if I were to update the 1060, there would be a benefit. I do know that this ACDC program that I use, they've told me in the past through email that they use the GPU to help assist with the raw conversion, the raw like turning it into something usable. So actually, I had emailed them and complained about, I think it was back with the Fujifilm X100F and how slow it was to edit on ACDC, and they told me that, oh, it does, that specific raw format doesn't have GPU support. And like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, so you're saying NVIDIA allows us to run 10 or 12-bit color? 8-bit? Oh, for the regular. Okay. So you get potentially better color output to your screen on the Quattros and such. Or the NVIDIA version, whatever that is. .36-bit color, that's nuts. Window programs can take full advantage. Okay, no banding. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm still using a not impressive LG screen as my main screen, and then I have a Samsung, also not great, but at the very least the LG is IPS and the Samsung is their own technology. So I don't know how color accurate my stuff is. Probably not very. Actually, I do think that at least the older professional GPUs are a little bit easier to get currently than anything else. Although they're less efficient and slower than, you know, the 30 series NVIDIAs and such. I don't think I would go for one, but they're at least an option. Finally done with these photos. Alright, so at this point, which might really lag my stream, I need to export these to the computer, and then I can pull them into the video editor. Whoops, that's not what I want. Yeah, but it would be nice to have really color accurate, high frame rate stuff going. Yeah, there wouldn't be very many people using color corrected screens to view, except for the other photographers and videographers. So usually in my videos I export full size so I can pull in, but I have noticed PNGs can be a little weird sometimes. So I might use JPEG or PNG, but we'll at least try PNG this time and see if it works. So this is probably going to take quite a while. But we can go back to the video. Take a look at this. Let's see. I did start clipping a little bit. Hey, it's Scarf W Bonsai here today. So in this case with the video, I don't know if you were around when I was talking about it, but I've got on the top here I have the GoPro. So it's the back camera. And then I have the Osmo Action attached to the bottom here. Yeah, it's probably a relatively good portion of the sRGB. And I had a Osmo Action on the bottom here. And I also had a lapel microphone with I use an Olympus recorder. LG has a specific color meter. Let's see. I'm thinking that the LG screen that I have doesn't have any type of capability. It only has HDMI. It doesn't even have a DisplayPort connection. But I was using a lapel microphone for this with a Olympus recorder that I have so that I can get relatively decent audio. Okay. I'll have to look into the LG display calibrator. Oh, it only works on LG. No, that makes sense.
So we've got the camera going 160, 800.
Wow, that export is really lagging my video editor. It's all good.
We've got the camera going 160, 800 ISO, 2.8 maybe. Have the camera in program mode, 160 ISO to 800 automatic.
Let's delete that. So in this case, I would look for any talking portions
To 800
that are
automatic.
decent and include those in the video. I try to save as often as possible with Vegas because it loves to crash at the worst time.
Shutter sound here.
And this specific camera doesn't have a mechanical shutter, so when I was making this video, I had to enable the fake shutter just to know when it was going on.
Here we go.
In this case, I'm going to look through the
There we go.
video and try to find either audio that's good or places where I was taking a photo.
Just barely.
So in this case, I think I was taking a photo right around here. I'll leave that in the footage, maybe put a note. And keep going.
I don't know if I should have the one action camera forward or backward, otherwise you can't see me talking to.
What you don't see here is that I already, LG ACB 8300. Let's see. We can check it out. Yeah, $120.
I don't know if I should have the one action camera forward or backward, otherwise you can't see me talking to.
So I was saying what you don't see here is that I synced the lapel microphone plus the GoPro plus the Osmo Action by hand. It's not a fun process.
Can't see me talking to.
There's always the chance that my mouth is slightly off in one of them. Oh, eBay for $45. That makes sense.
You can't see me talking to. But I think it makes more sense to show what's being photographed rather than not.
Here, I think I was taking a photo. Let's see. Oh, it's still exporting. 39 of 125. Probably not the smartest thing to export photos when I'm trying to stream. Let's see. I'll just clip it there, just in case.
Of course, I don't need.
Usually when I say something wrong, I just rehash it and then say it again. Or actually, I think this train messed up my... Oh, that was a car. at the moment I have a feature enabled in the editor to move all the clips to the side when I delete something, which is nice. But sometimes it doesn't work right depending on what you're trying to do. So it's called auto ripple, Control L, where you can toggle it.
I don't really need to cover myself too much with this because I have all waterproof equipment, but the lenses easily get water on them.
So in this case, I was referring to the big umbrella thing. Let's see.
Which is why
I do have a little lens hood for this now, but even so, it's rain still can get in there.
so many signs. Pole is going to be in front of the...
Okay, I think I might have taken a photo there. It doesn't help because I'm still exporting them, but generally I would have the photos ready and then I would know exactly when I need to pull out a clip for that specific photo. So there's like some context with seeing me take a photo and then showing the photo.
Pole is going to be in front of the action camera the entire time. That's something I should have...
Oh, in this case I was referring to the umbrella that I was holding, and yeah.
Signs.
Yeah, it would definitely add some blur and such to the, or just like weird splotches to the photos.
Easily get water on them. Well, something like that maybe.
I'm not sure if I took any photos around here. Oh, not to get hit by cars.
Some first person stuff going. So much weight on the side of the camera from the action camera.
Oh,
So
yeah, I did have it connected right here. The Osmo Action. Let's see if those pictures are done. No, I don't think so. Oh, halfway. I think I might have had a photo around there. Maybe not.
maybe if I held it like that.
I think at this point I was just trying to manage everything and I wasn't really focused on taking photos. I must have at least tried to take a picture of that train, maybe not. Oh, I think that was a picture. Whoops.
around that side. Go upstairs.
There we go. I hit the wrong key and it jumped to the front of the video. That was irritating. Let me put my music back on.
Don't worry about it. You go that way.
Oh, in this case, I was talking to these geese that were in my way. Canadian geese can be very aggressive when they want to be. Which, you know, I don't want to get in their business if I don't have to.
A little lens hood now for these with the 40.5mm filter thread, which is weird.
Let's see. Okay, at this point, I think I wanted to switch over action camera from here to over here. This is the type of stuff I just wouldn't include in the video usually. Yeah, so you can tell that it's on the other side now. So from there to there.
I don't know what I'm doing. So I've got the action cam, I have the DJI on the. All right, this is all set up. I think I'm just gonna do first person for the entire thing. Turn it on.
Yeah, usually sometimes I would have the camera. Turkeys, what? Oh no, they're called Canadian geese. We do have turkeys. These ones fly much better than turkeys. You know, do turkeys fly? I'm not sure, but these ones definitely fly. Let's see. See if I can find a. Well, it looks like I didn't get too close to him, but... Oh. Yeah, I'm not sure. We have turkeys, but they're more so pretty just dumb, where they walk in front of cars. Yeah, these geese get around, for sure.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, that's a good frame for it. There we go. So he's ready for action. He sees me and he wants to, he or she sees me and is not thrilled with me being around. Oh, turkeys chase people in the Philippines. They must be different types of turkeys. Although I've never walked next to turkeys, so maybe the ones here do it as well. It's just I'm not familiar with it. But these ones will mess someone up if they get too close.
Don't worry about it.
Let's see how that export is doing. Come on, computer. Oh, 119 of 125. There we go. Come on, computer. Finally. So, I don't know if I want to close this yet, but what I would do usually next is I've got this big thing of photos. Oh, one thing I did not do is I did not change the file names. So in ACDC, if I go to those pictures, whoa, what is going on? That can't be right. What? That was weird. I think that was like photos in the database. So select all of these photos when my computer cooperates. ACDC is a nice program, but it is a very sit there and watch it do its thing type of program. Come on. So I think what it's doing here is it's loading thumbnails. And there we go. And if I do F2 on the keyboard, there's a feature to rename files based on EXIF information, which is nice. 10 millimeter, and then it tells you which aperture you're using, shutter speed, ISO, which looks good. I think that's the one that I need. And that just renames everything. So at this point, I can more easily put that information in the video. So if we take these pictures and put it into the actual project, and then from there, just save this. I've got a folder ready inside Vegas. Come on. There we go. Now I finally have pictures ready for being put into the video. Yeah, ACDC has some really nice features. Like you can do comparisons with photos, which I've used in some of my videos, but it's just very unoptimized or something. There's something with their software that is just not. I mean, if I had a crazy powerful computer, maybe it wouldn't be an issue, but my current computer, it's definitely an issue. Oh, DxO Photo Lab is something similar, but it's not as intuitive. Okay. At this point, I finally have pictures in here. So I think I took a photo. I think these 3 photos were right there. But like you can see here, it says the file name, which I can go into the properties and then just copy the actual EXIF from there. So much, much faster than trying to do jump in between like a ACDC plus this copy over what the settings were. Yeah. So at this point, with the edit, I would basically go through the entire thing, placing photos, selecting out any type of audio that I like, that I was talking about. And that's the basic construction of one of these videos, which even that takes, like, this is an hour 16 minutes plus of just footage to deal with. But I think I'm gonna take a break from this, because even just editing the photos was quite a bit. Anyways, I appreciate you hanging out, and everyone else that showed up for maybe a few minutes each. Looks average watch time says 3 minutes and 48 seconds.